Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at this AMD Radeon 6900 XT from XFX. The customer has a note with it, and this reads, worked perfectly until I went on holiday for a week and no longer posts. I've tried another GPU in the system which works, and this GPU in another system that doesn't work. So fairly confident it is an issue with this GPU. LEDs still receive power and can still detect power on the board. Okay, so we're going to go over this card and do our normal checks and see if we can find the problem. So first checks as always in diode mode, and we want to check the first data pair and the ref clock plus and minus pins. Okay, not pulling on this. So checking the first data pair, which is pins 3 and 4 on the slot, and we're good. Second one is good. Okay, turning the card over and checking the ref clock plus and minus, which is pins 2 and 3, which is good. And the other one is good. All right. Check our base voltage rails now. So in beep mode, if I touch ground, we have a beep. And checking 12 volts from the slot. And we're good. Checking 3.3 volts. Okay. So we got a short on 3.3 volts. So this is the fourth pin from the notch going to the left. 3.3 volts, and the one next to it is ground. So we have a connection there. Okay, let's move on. Checking external 12 volt rails. Which is fine. And fine. Okay, so it's probably safe to assume that we have an issue on the 3.3 volt rail. We'll strip the card down now and take a better look at all the rest of the rails inside and see if we can find that short. All right, so here's our card stripped down now. We're gonna check over the rest of those rails. Let's see what we get. So that's back in beep mode. We're looking for the short over here and see if any other rails are in problem. So starting with 0.75 volt rail, 7 ohms. Now I find that a little suspicious. As you can see, those two rails are actually reading the same. So that would suggest we do have a connection between those two rails. Anyway, let's move on. 1.8 volts. Very, very, very low. And the memory rail is in short. So this is, we would usually deem this a write-off, but we're going to go a little further and see what else we can find on this. Okay, so we're going to put a bit of voltage down this, one of the shorted rails. We're going to start with the memory, since that's got the most severe short at the moment. And we'll see if anything gets warm. Hopefully we can spot something. Yeah. So our thermal camera is now ready to go. Fortunately, I can't show you what's on the screen, so we're just going to do this and tell you what's going on. So right now we're putting 1 volt down and it's pulling 3.08 amps. And looking at the board, nothing is getting warm. So considering the memory rail runs 1.3 volts, we're going to turn that up. Okay, so with our probes now set at 1.3 volts, we're now pulling 5 amps, which is the maximum for our power supply. That is the limit. And nothing is showing up. Yep, nothing's getting warm. All right. Okay, so at this point in time, we have nothing showing up under the thermal camera. So we're already deeming this to be dead. What we're going to do now is, we know the customer has tried to power this on, so we're actually going to do the same. It's not safe to do considering the shorts that we're seeing, but on this card there are other components connected to those rails that are also potential shorts. So we're going to let the card do its thing and see if we can spot anything under thermal. Okay, so let's just try to show you what we're doing. And we're going to just check this over with a thermal when we power it on. And powering on now. Okay, so we actually have some heat being generated by one of these chips. We'll have to consult a schematic to see what it is and if it's common to any of our rails, and we'll look at lifting that and see if we have any changes. So the IC that is currently showing as getting warm is this one. Let's switch to a microscope view. So the component which is showing as overheating is this one right here. We'll look at lifting that and actually see if we can clear some of these shorts. First, what we're going to do is consult a schematic and see if we can identify if any of these rails go to that, and then we'll come back and take a look at that chip. Okay, so this IC here is actually connected to the 1.8 volt rail as well as the 3.3 volt rail. It doesn't explain the short on our memory rail or our connection to the 0.75 volt rail, but we already deemed this card to be dead, so we're going to remove this and at least see if we can chase this down a bit. Right, so our shorts are still present, so they haven't changed. We're going to have to deem this a no fix. We're going to put that component back and leave it at that, unfortunately. Right, so we've reinstalled the components. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave this repair there, and this will be going back as a no fix. As a general rule of thumb, anytime you see a short on a memory rail as well as a 1.8 volt rail, in most cases that card is a write-off. So we're not going to put any more voltage down anywhere else. I mean, our memory rail is shorted. If nothing's showing up with that, there's nothing else we can really do for it. We'll speak to the customer now and see if he wants us to pull this core off. At least we can confirm with 100% accuracy that the core is the problem. Right now we suspect the core because it's connected to all those rails that are a problem. It's connected to all those rails that have a problem. So yeah, unfortunately this is now deemed as a no fix and it'll be going back to the customer. We have just reached out to the customer to discuss the card, suggesting that we pull the core off to confirm this 100% and confirm the problem. He's decided against it and he's basically written it off. He has decided to leave the card with us and we're going to ravage it for spares in the future. And we're forever grateful. So thank you very much for that. And thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you can like and subscribe. And if you want to contact us to send a device in for repair, you can do that via our eBay page or via our website at beorgaming.co.uk. Thank you very much for watching.